Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a book today that's been getting a lot of attention. Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yeah. It's been making some waves. It's a really interesting look at a new way to think about health and aging.
So it's not about, like finding the fountain of youth or anything.
No, it's not about that at all. It's about understanding how we age, the science behind it, and then using that knowledge to live not just longer, but better. More of those good years?
I like that, living better, not just longer. So what's the book's take on how we can do that?
Well, it introduces this idea of medicine 3.0. It's about really taking charge of your health, being proactive instead of just waiting for things to go wrong.
Medicine 3.0.
Okay.
Okay, listen. What makes this different from how we usually think about health?
Think about it this way. What if instead of just treating diseases after they pop up, we could actually prevent them in the first place? That's the core of Medicine 3.0. It's about understanding the aging process and making choices that help you stay healthier longer.
So it's not just about adding years to your life, but adding life to your years.
Exactly. And the book lays out a really solid foundation for this. It dives into the four big threats to longevity: heart disease, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, and then type 2 diabetes and all the metabolic issues that go with it.
Right, those are the big ones that we hear about all the time.
Yeah.
But this
I
book
mean,
helps us understand them better.
it does. And one of the things I found really fascinating was the author's personal story. He's a surgeon, and he tells this story about his time in the operating room that really makes you think about what success in medicine really means. It's not just about keeping people alive no matter what. It's about making sure those extra years are actually good years.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So does the book give you like a roadmap for how to achieve that kind of longevity?
It does. It has this framework called objective strategy tactics. Basically, you define what your longevity goals are, like what do you want to be doing in your 70s, 80s, even 90s, and then you come up with strategies and specific actions to get you there.
So it's more than just general advice.
Yeah.
It actually helps you personalize your plan.
Exactly. It's all about giving you the tools to take control of your own health. And one of the first things it tackles is heart disease, specifically this thing called APOP.
ApoB, that's not something I've heard of before. Is that different from like regular cholesterol tests?
It is. ApoB is a protein that's found on LDL cholesterol,
Hmm?
the bad kind. And the book makes a strong case that it's a much better predictor of heart disease risk than just looking at your total cholesterol numbers.
Mhm. So it's not just about knowing your numbers, but understanding what they really mean.
Right. And the book suggests that aggressively lowering your ApoB levels can really reduce your risk.
That's interesting. So we're talking about being proactive, not just reactive.
Exactly. And that's a theme throughout the book. It really challenges the conventional wisdom on a lot of things.
This is fascinating. Okay, so we've talked about heart disease. What about cancer? That's another big concern for people when it comes to longevity.
Yeah, and you know what? I was really struck by the book's positive outlook on cancer prevention. It talks a lot about early detection metabolic therapies and this really exciting field of immunotherapy.
Immunotherapy. I've heard that word,
Yeah.
but I don't really know what it means. Can you break it down for us?
It's pretty amazing. Imagine being able to train your own immune system to target and destroy cancer cells. That's basically what immunotherapy does. And the book has some really inspiring stories of people who have had incredible success with these treatments. It feels like we're on the verge of a revolution in cancer care.
That's really encouraging to hear. But what about something like Alzheimer's disease? It seems like there's not much we can do about that.
That's a common fear. And while there is a genetic component, the book actually emphasizes how much lifestyle factors can play a role in prevention.
So it's not all just predetermined.
Right. It's not a guarantee,
Mm.
but the book presents Alzheimer's as something that we can potentially influence and even prevent through lifestyle choices.
Okay, that gives me some hope.
Hmm.
So what kind of lifestyle changes are we talking about?
Well, the book dives into several key areas. Exercise is a big one. It calls exercise the most potent longevity drug we have.
Okay, now that I'm interested,
Yeah.
we all know exercise is good for us, but is there a particular type of exercise that the book recommends?
It goes beyond just general recommendations and talks about the science behind different types of exercise. It highlights the benefits of something called Zone 2 training.
Zone 2 training. What's that?
It's basically a specific intensity level. You're working hard enough to get the benefits, but not so hard that you're completely wiped out.
So it's like finding that sweet spot.
Exactly. And the book gives you a framework for how to figure out your own Zone 2 and design workouts that fit your goals and abilities.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, sir.
So we've got exercise. What about diet? I'm always a little skeptical when a book promises to revolutionize my eating habits.
This one takes a really unique approach. It doesn't just give you a list of foods to eat or avoid. It actually goes deep into the science of how food interacts with our bodies, what it calls a nutritional biochemistry.
Nutritional biochemistry. That sounds intense.
It is a bit,
Yeah.
but it's also really fascinating. The book debunks a lot of common diet myths and gives you the tools to understand how different foods actually affect you.
So it's about getting past the fads and figuring out what works for your body.
Exactly. And one tool that the book recommends for personalizing your nutrition is continuous glucose monitoring, or CGM.
CGM. Isn't that for people with diabetes?
It was originally, but it's becoming more and more popular for anyone who wants to see how their blood sugar responds to different
You
foods.
can track your blood sugar in real time.
Yeah, it gives you this incredible feedback on how your body is processing what you eat.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so we've talked about exercise and nutrition. What other lifestyle factors does the book highlight for longevity?
Sleep is a big one. It often gets overlooked, but the book really emphasizes how important it is for both your physical and mental health.
So it's not just about getting enough sleep. It's about getting the right kind of sleep.
Right. It explains the different stages of sleep, common sleep disorders, and then gives you practical strategies for improving your sleep quality.
It's amazing how much we're learning about the importance of sleep for our overall health.
Hmm.
Did the book cover any other aspects of well-being?
It did. And this might surprise you, but it has a whole section on emotional health.
Really? We don't always think about emotional health in the context of longevity.
I know, but the book makes a compelling case that addressing past traumas, managing stress, cultivating positive emotions, these are all essential for a long and healthy life.
So it's really about the whole person,
Yeah.
not just the physical aspect.
Exactly. And the author shares some very personal stories about his own journey of healing. It really highlights the importance of taking care of our emotional well-being.
This book sounds like it covers a lot of ground. So for someone who's interested in this whole idea of extending their health span, living better, not just longer, would you say this book is worth checking out?
Absolutely. It's a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to understand the science and art of longevity. And it's written in a way that's really engaging and easy to understand, even if you're not a health expert.
You've definitely piqued my interest. I'm already thinking about all the little changes I could start making today to improve my own health span.
That's what's so great about this book. It really empowers you to take control of your health and make choices that support your longevity goals.
I love that. So where do we go from here?
Well, I think a great place to start is by picking up a copy of Outlive and diving in. It's full of practical advice, and it's really inspiring.
I'm sold. I'm definitely adding this to my reading list. And for our listeners, if you're intrigued by what you've heard today, I encourage you to check it out too. It might just change the way you think about aging. And who knows? It might even help you add a few more good years to your life.
And remember, it's not just about living longer. It's about living better.
Absolutely. We'll be back next week to dive even deeper into some of the key takeaways from Outlive. So stay tuned.
See you then.
Bye for now.